everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Washington Football's unfiltered show, The Beat. I am your host, Chip Brierre. Quick turnaround this week because Thanksgiving is nearly here, if it isn't already. And we are thankful for this week's panel as the rivalry continues between the Washington Football Team and the Dallas Cowboys. We have JP Flame of 106.7 The Fan, host of the Sports Junkies, which you can catch 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have Sean Springs, former Washington Football Team cornerback from 2004 to 2008, and rounding it out, Jane Slater, NFL Network reporter, who has been focusing on the Cowboys this week. Yes, we are thankful to have our panel here and a Thanksgiving Day tradition that the Cowboys certainly like. The Washington Football Team say that they enjoy, even though they are 8-1 in this series when playing Dallas on Turkey Day. So to begin, I want to go to Sean, who has played for the Washington Football Team, has played in a Thanksgiving Day game. And what is your favorite memory of Washington football playing on Turkey Day?
Well, I like the fact that it was a short week, so you didn't have, the coaches wouldn't try to kill you during the week to make sure that you had a lot of practice days, because obviously there's only so much you can install on a short week, because obviously Wednesday was a travel day. So you basically have one day of practice. You're just focused on watching film. And as a short weekend, you usually get a weekend off if you win. So for us, it was exciting because you knew that it's a national game that everybody's watching. They're at home eating their turkeys and stuff, and you get to show the rest of the league what you're about.
One memory we do have circled is in 2006, Sean Taylor's blocked field goal. Can you walk us through that one?
That was an awesome game, and it's crazy because we were going back and forth, and the game was pretty close. And next thing you know, I think actually Troy Vincent, who blocked the kick, and Sean picked it up. And, he was scrambling all over the field, and I was trying to get blocked, but he was just going in 8 different directions. Next thing you know, we put us back in field goal. And that was one of the best finishes I've ever been a part of. And, of course, Sean Taylor, did something exciting.
He was a great football player, but even better, just a good person. We must move forward, though, and get into this matchup because it is hot. As you mentioned, Jane, the Dallas Cowboys just played the Minnesota Vikings and won by a field goal, but don't count out the Washington Football Team. They won 20-9 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton, 69% completion percentage, 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. Alex Smith, 1 touchdown, 160 yards passing. Antonio Gibson, though, was the story offensively for them. Almost getting to 100 yards, but now the only rookie to lead the group in rushing touchdowns. He's tied for 7th with Alvin Kamara for rushing touchdowns. JP, who do you think has the hotter streak going into this matchup?
Well, neither of them have a hot streak. They both won games against losing teams. It's the NFC East. Both teams are 3-7. Washington, of course, beat them earlier this season. What I'm interested to see is, you just heard Jane talking about the offensive line a little bit, and you had 6 sacks in the first matchup for Washington. Washington's defensive line has been the strength, so I want to see if Chase Young, if Montez Sweat, if Ryan Kerr can get after Andy Dalton. They sacked him 3 times in the game while Andy Dalton was in before Ben DiNucci took over. So if Washington can pressure the quarterback, I think they'll have a good shot. And Dallas, I think, provides a better matchup for Washington. Sean, you can talk about this. A lot of teams have gone quick passing against Washington, which negates the defensive line strength. We saw that with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow getting rid of the ball quick. But it seems like Dallas likes to throw the ball a little downfield a little bit more, which might give Washington a better shot at getting after the quarterback.
Well, I think what's been interesting, I was going to say what's interesting about this Cowboys team, I think the reason why you're seeing success is the Cowboys' success on offense has largely been rooted in that offensive line. And I've argued this year that they've been asking Zeke Elliott to simply do too much because of the injuries. I mean, you're missing your 2 starting tackles. You lost your center. Now, Joe Looney obviously has given you stability there, but then he got hurt. But now I think because they've changed up the middle a little bit and they've moved Zach Martin out to right tackle as opposed to right guard, Mike McCarthy sort of scoffed at the notion of that a couple of weeks ago. But we've seen a lot of these offensive players become essentially non-factors because they've had problems keeping the quarterback consistent, but also upright. I think they've been able to identify a little bit. I actually was shocked that Andy Dalton played as well as he did against the Vikings last weekend.
On the other side of the ball, and you can talk about this, Jane, Dallas's defense has been putrid all season long. And even, in the Minnesota game, Kirk Cousins had a big game up until the last drive, which is typical Kirk Cousins. We've talked about that for years, Sean. But Adam Thielen had a huge game. So look for McLaurin to have opportunities. Alex Smith should be comfortable. You've seen this the last couple of games with Alex Smith. When he has time, he can dissect the defense. So if Dallas can't get pressure on him, they should be able to have a successful offensive day. And we saw that with Kyle Allen a few weeks ago when they played Dallas.
Yeah, and we're going to keep this going. I know the panel is eager to keep talking. I love the energy right now, but we got to funnel it after the break, because when we come back, I'm going to test out their Thanksgiving cooking skills for our predictions on Turkey Day. Little surprise faces there. You're going to have to stick around to find out what we're talking about. You're watching The Beat. Keep it locked.
We all know things are different. Keeping you safe is not. At Innova, we ensure the safety of everyone who comes to us with safe locations, safe supplies, safe cleaning, and safe practices. You're safe at Innova. Get the facts at innova.org/safety.
At Honda, we take the holidays seriously. With serious style and serious capability. So while others may be decking the halls, you could be dashing through the snow with the best value of the season. Now's the best time to get into a new Honda. KBB.com's best value brand for 2020. Visit Happy Honda Days at your local Honda dealer or shop online to get a great offer on the HR-V.
Free healthcare. Hundreds to more than $1,000 per month in disability compensation and tens of thousands for college tuition. These are just some of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits that may be available to veterans. VA is focused on customer service like never before. Choose VA and see why veterans' trust in VA reached an all-time high. Claim the benefits you've earned at choose.va.gov.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
It's all-wheel drive season, and your local Honda dealers are bringing the best deals of the year. It's clearance pricing during the Happy Honda Days sales event. Dash through the snow to a rugged and adventurous Honda. Check out the entire all-wheel drive truck and SUV lineup. CR-V, HR-V, Ridgeline, Pilot, and Passport, with features like Honda Sensing, Magic Folding Seats, and 3 different driving modes. Clearance pricing is here, but it won't last long. Don't miss clearance pricing at the Happy Honda Days sales event, now at your local Honda dealer.
Welcome back to The Beat. I'm your host, Chip Brierre. We're here with JP Flame, Sean Springs, and Jane Slater. We're going to start with our newest segment that's going in its second running. It's in favor of the Redditors in our audience. Upvote, downvote. I'm going to throw out a storyline, and you're going to either upvote it or downvote it. We begin with Antonio Gibson. He will extend his touchdown streak to 5 games, JP. Upvote or downvote?
It's an upvote, and in particular because he's on my fantasy team. I get nervous when the
Same here.
I get nervous when Washington puts in Peyton Barber to be the hammer. He's not the hammer. Antonio Gibson is. He delivers in the red zone.
Yeah, 8 rushing touchdowns to lead all rookie running backs and tied for 7th in the NFL for most rushing touchdowns with Alvin Kamara. Not a bad name to be associated with.
Also on my fantasy team, and he is the superior player.
Are you 9-1 like me?
Yes, I am in one of my leagues. Sadly to say, in my father-son league, I have a bunch of 8th graders beating me down every week.
All right, Jane, you're up next. Ezekiel Elliott will have his second straight 100-yard rushing game. Upvote or downvote?
Upvote. I think now that you've got him going, I think the big thing with him has been confidence. Obviously, ball security was an issue for him early on. I think now that he's got a little bit of the confidence back, and you're seeing a guy like Tony Pollard, although there isn't competition, these guys are friends. You're always worried when the guy behind you is excelling at a high rate. But I do think that Zeke's going to start figuring this thing out. I think he's got sort of the mental makeup for it. But I think you'll see him start stacking these things together finally.
Can I jump in and just go downvote on that? Last game, only 45 yards. Washington's going to be all about, as Sean said, primary focus, shut down Zeke, which I think is going to make it tough. They're going to want.
Unfortunately, you can't just say I want to shut down Zeke because they do have 3 receivers.
I understand that, but they have some success.
But I think when you've got him running angry, he can really wear you down through 4 quarters. So I think, yeah, like I said, I think getting his confidence back, I think, has been big for him, because I think there were some questions in Dallas. Has he fallen off? I think he took that stuff personally.
Never doubt the Buckeyes. Never doubt the Buckeyes. Next topic.
Never. And the last time Zeke played Washington on Thanksgiving Day, he ran for over 100 yards. So Jane's upvote seems to be trending in the right direction. Terry McLaurin, Sean, will have more receiving yards than CeeDee Lamb. And I want to preface with this. Terry McLaurin now has more yards receiving in his first 24 career games than Jerry Rice.
That is an upvote. That dude is unstoppable when you look at Dallas secondary, although I like Diggs because he's from the area, been knowing him and watched him since high school. They don't have anybody that has a chance of covering Terry McLaurin and even if you double team him, he's still gonna get the balls more balls than CeeDee Lamb. The kid is just explosive. He's strong. I'm gonna love to see the matchup on the outside if Diggs tries to match up on him. We'll follow him around the field, but McLaurin's gonna win that battle all day long.
So JP, gonna go back to you here real quick. The winner of Thursday's game will win the NFC East. Upvote or downvote?
That is an upvote. If you look at the schedules, Philadelphia has a much more difficult schedule than Washington and Dallas. The Giants have a much more difficult schedule. Dallas only faces one team with a winning record. Washington only faces two teams with a winning record. This division is probably going to be decided on Thanksgiving.
So that's going to be an upvote. The winner of this Thanksgiving Day game will go on to win the NFC East. All right. That is upvote, downvote. We end the show with a Thanksgiving Day special because I want to put the chef's hat on our panel and put together their perfect Thanksgiving meal with predictions from the game. We will have the turkey, the main matchup of the game for them, the sides, and under the radar storyline to thread it all together, much like mashed potatoes and gravy, mac and cheese, and collard greens, or the pumpkin pie to celebrate a sweet victory or milestone in the game. We're gonna go around the horn here, starting with JP. Give me your turkey side and pumpkin pie.
Well, my turkey is that matchup that we've been talking about, Zeke against the Washington football team defense. The Washington football team has not consistently been able to stop the run, but in the earlier matchup, they did hold Zeke to 45 yards. If they're able to do that and make Dallas one-dimensional, I think they can get the better of Andy Dalton. My sides, let's look at Terry McLaurin. We talked about that earlier. Will he be able to dominate? And then I prefer pecan pie or pecan pie. You guys prefer to pronounce that. My side will be Antonio Gibson. If Antonio Gibson can keep that streak going, punch it in, I think Washington will be able to prove enough offensively to steal a win in Dallas.
We'll go to Jane next.
Well, I'm going to go with Jerry Jones loves these expensive beans. I think the guys on the radio looked it up, and it was like $35 for these beans, of course. It's like his favorite beans every Christmas. CeeDee Lamb is, it was something ridiculous. I can't even remember the name of the bean. I mean, I grew up in Rowlett, Texas. I'm middle class. Like, we didn't eat like expensive beans. CeeDee Lamb was an expensive pick for them, so I'm an expensive side. I think this is going to be a big game for CeeDee Lamb. I think especially after that catch they had against the Vikings last weekend, I think this could be a big one for him. I think he's one of the few dogs that they've got on this team that's going to play inspired. What's going to make this thing sweet?
The pumpkin pie at the end.
Is you're going to have a decisive win over the Redskins, possibly. That would make this week sweet for the Cowboys. This is a decisive win. So I'll go with sweet pie for them. It'll be an unexpected pie, not a pie, the ingredients that we're used to, because I don't have a lot of faith in the Cowboys these days. But I think it'll be an expensive pie that'll make this thing sweet when the week has started out pretty sour.
Oh.
But she's standing her ground. She is standing her ground, and we respect her for that. We respect you, Jane, for standing your ground there. Sean, bring us home your turkey, your side, and your pumpkin pie.
Jane, we were on the same wavelength until you said decisive win over the Washington football team. No way. No way. It's not happening. Too big of a rivalry. Let me say this, though. My turkey goes to the turkeys. Andy Dalton and Alex Smith. Both are old school quarterbacks, got a little time under their belt a little bit. And I think the one who makes the least amount of mistakes, wins the game. We've seen Alex play great, but we also seen him throw a few late interceptions. Andy Dalton was excellent last week against Minnesota, but Andy Dalton is notorious for throwing interceptions as well, especially if we can get him on his back and get sacked. So that's my turkey. The sides is the running backs. I like the Washington football team running backs out of the backfield. I'm with you guys. This Gibson may do something special. This guy can beat you in a lot of different ways and possibly could be leading receiver in the game, right?
He's still
he
so
lines
raw
up
back
at receiver.
there.
He lines up at running back. He's all over the field. I like him as an X-Factor. But what's going to make it real sweet and what everybody come to see is defensive backs against the receivers. Everybody knows CeeDee Lamb is a man. They like a Gallup and they like Cooper, my boy Amari Cooper. For some strange reason, I think my boys in the Washington secondary are going to hold them to not big games, and it's going to be a tight game. So I think that the Redskins secondary is going to show up, and we're going to make a play, and that's going to be the difference. Because with your turkey, I like a little bit of my pumpkin pie with my turkey. So I like the Redskins secondary picking off Andy Dalton late to win the game.
I certainly know you want the ball.
Guys, it's so hard to say what you can expect from this Cowboys team. I mean,
expect the unexpected.
If I'm Dallas, I was so demoralized the last time you played on the road. The weather was terrible. You get an indoor stadium. You're coming off a big win against Minnesota. You have something to play for this week. So you would think that they would find it in them to win this game, and they're relatively healthy, probably the most healthy they've been all year as it relates to guys that can actually play. But it's just so hard to say what their mental makeup's going to be.
And I think we're about to get a guest appearance from JP's kids. So I think that's about time we wrap things up here. Thank you to our amazing panel for joining us on this Thanksgiving holiday week. JP Flame, you can check him on 106.7 The Fan, The Sports Junkie, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Sean Springs, former Washington football team cornerback. Gotta make sure I say that correctly instead of quarterback. And then Jane Slater of the... And Jane Slater of NFL Network. Thank you all for spending time with us. Enjoy your holidays, and we will see you again next week. Enjoy the game, everyone.
It's 2020. Let's make a splash. Play the DC Lottery's Roaring Cash.
FanDuel's simple, intuitive app makes it easy to get closer to the game. But to get Dan even closer, we've arranged for him to experience a genuine James Harrison tackle.
Wait, what? Tackle? Can we not do the tackle?
If he doesn't tackle you, he doesn't get paid.
Doesn't get paid? Oh, okay!
FanDuel. Join today and play free all season long.
At Inova, COVID-19 testing of all patients having a procedure or surgery, continuous training of our team members, and thorough cleaning of our facilities are just some of the many ways we work to keep you safe. You're safe at Inova.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I know it's your day off, but the meeting deadline got moved up.
What are you doing? Look at your Sentra. It's got everything you want, and you can cut loose in it. Oh, and it's got all these fancy features, so I know we'll help you stay safe. This is what I taught you. Never settle.
Hey, I prepped Joe, and he's good to go.
Refuse to compromise. The radically redesigned all-new Nissan Sentra. Get a low $199 per month lease on Sentra, or get 0% financing for up to 84 months on 14 models.